authorities, and indeed he features in this movie, which has had such an impact. I'm going to let Jacob introduce the movie. It runs for close to 2 hours, so we'll let the movie run itself. This is the Asian premiere of the movie. In fact, we're preempting, I know, the British premiere, which goes out on Channel 4 News later this evening. So it's one of the earliest chances to see this movie since the Oscar Award. And after that, Jacob has agreed to stay and to take questions and answers. I'm just going to let Jacob say a couple of words now about the documentary itself.
So thank you very much for having both myself and the film here. It's really quite an honor. I come to Thailand very often for scuba diving, and I really totally fantastically thrilled that we were able to show this film. I called Laura and said, there's a Foreign Correspondents Club in Thailand, and there is a great need for people there, especially Americans living abroad, to understand what is happening in our country and what is happening around the world. And these issues affect people all across the planet, and they especially affect Americans who, for the most part, until Edward Snowden, could say that they didn't know. This film is helpful because it shows and helps people to understand what is happening, what has happened, and it gives us an opportunity to see that it's possible to do something about it. And Edward Snowden, who I think is one of the modern heroes of our time, has suffered greatly for this. His sacrifice, however, does not need to be final. He does not need to stay in Russia. He should be able to come home a hero to America, which is what he is. He is a hero. But he cannot come home to America until we create the situation where people respect him for the things that he has done, which is to inform the American people, but all people around the world, about basic, fundamental human rights. And Laura and myself lived essentially in exile thanks to the protection of the German government, strangely enough, who, through their protection of the free press, have allowed us to work with Der Spiegel and other publications like NDR to work freely, where we were free from police harassment and intelligence agency harassment for the most part. And that is a really fantastic thing. And I'm glad that we could show this film today, and I'm especially glad that it's possible for us to live safely in Berlin. I myself have not been home in 2 years because of FBI harassment. I have not been to the United States because as a journalist I cannot work there because of my work with WikiLeaks and my work with Der Spiegel and with other news organizations talking about information in which the US government has committed serious international and national crimes. This film was made over the period of about 5 years, a little bit more than 5 years. And during that time, it changed many times. The work of Julian Assange and WikiLeaks and myself and the Tor Project and other places and other people were chronicled by Laura. And when Edward Snowden came, the film really changed. And it became an incredible film. Before, it was mostly, I would say, mediocre by comparison. And Edward Snowden made this film. And Laura, winning the Oscar, I think, has really reached people that Julian and I could never have reached in ways that were impossible. So this film, I think, speaks to the heart of America, and that is very important. And I hope that other Americans, in this room especially, will remember that now that they've seen this film, they can't say they didn't know. So thank you very much.
Well said.